Hi and welcome to another YouTube video. In today's video I want to show you this house that I've built, and I'm so excited to show you, not because of the exterior for a change. This is by no means the most beautiful or most creative exterior that I've ever done. I mean, it's also ugly, but it's not ugly in the slightest. I'm still like kind of proud of the house as a whole, but it's not my favorite exterior ever, but I am so incredibly excited about the interior, which also kind of is probably connected to the fact that I started building this because I was so inspired to build an interior. So I kind of found a couple of images and GIFs on Pinterest, as you do when you are searching for building inspiration, that just like fit together so well and painted such a clear picture in my mind of this like plant mom with a cat that is like just living at home with all of her like plants and candles and books and her cat and cozy vibes, that I just like really fell in love with all of those inspiration pictures. One of them you can see here that I used as inspiration for the greenhouse, and because I had those inspiration pictures and I fell in love with them, and they painted such a strong picture of the personality of the person living there, which is something that I really wanted to work on with my building, that I am trying to, when moving forward, be able to really convey a personality and a lifestyle through my build of the sim living in there. And I think this build was the first time that I managed to achieve this, and it's such a good feeling when you set a goal for yourself and you actually manage to achieve it. So yeah, I'm so happy with the interior, and I hope that you're going to love it too as much as I do. So yeah, I also started with building the interior. So I started with building the greenhouse. First a little bit of something on the exterior, but then mainly like I basically went room by room. You can see like after the greenhouse I'm doing the kitchen, and with the kitchen I also like first created the shape and then the interior, but then I also decorated the exterior of the kitchen, and with the bedroom I did the same thing. So I basically went room by room and not did the entire exterior first and then went into the interior and figuring out the floor plan and stuff. That was like a whole different type of working on a Sims build. I can't really say that I like it more, but it was definitely interesting as an experiment, and I like the results, because usually when I start working on a build and I start working on the exterior, I like by the time that I get to the interior I already got all of my creative juices out, and all of my ideas and energy and time is spent on making the exterior look as good as possible, so that when I get to the interior I don't really like, at that point I just want to get it finished. I just want to get it done. I want to show it to people, like because I'm at that point probably proud of the exterior when it like goes well. So I want to show it to people, but I can't yet because it doesn't have an interior. So I'm just like quick doing the interior, and that's also like one of the reasons often that I'm not as proud of my interiors, because they're kind of like fastly done and not with as much care as the exterior. So this time I really went room by room so that the interior gets as much love and attention as it deserves, which I am like very happy with this kind of like way of working. And I think I'm just going to have to do like this once and then like that the other time, and kind of alternated, kind of just to train myself myself to pay more attention to both sides of building in The Sims. And yeah, let's talk more about the character who is going to live in here. So I kind of imagined this as like a very big and nice house. It's not the most like extravagant and expensive Sims house. It's only 100,000 simoleons, which of course is by no means a starter build, but it is kind of a price range that is achievable through gameplay, I would say. Like sometimes I build stuff and I end up in the 600,000, 700,000 simoleon range. This one is quote-unquote only 100,000 simoleons. I wouldn't call it cheap by no means, but it also is kind of like a realistic smaller house size and not like some huge mansion with 7 bedrooms. This is basically a 1-bedroom house, 2 bedrooms if you count the office space as a bedroom. But before we get more into that, I kind of want to talk a little bit more about what is happening on the screen right now, because I had so much fun with the kitchen and I kind of want to explain to you. So in The Sims, we have no way of customizing the ceilings. The ceilings are always just a white, no texture kind of area. And what I've really been wanting to do for a long time is do an interesting ceiling for a Sims build or a Sims roof. So I actually thought that maybe the first time I would dabble into something like this would be some like medieval fantasy kind of builds where I would build like a cathedral with like nice arched roofs, or some kind of castle or something. But it was actually this Catmom house with the kitchen, and this kitchen has kind of these wooden beams going across, inspired by this reference GIF that I found, and there are like these beams going around, and also across those beams there are kind of these hanging lights, and there are plants everywhere hanging from the ceiling, and I just thought that was so cute, and it gave such a nice and cozy vibe to the entire room that I really wanted this for my Sims build, and I thought that this was a very, very fitting Sims build to try this on. And so I went into debug and I found this fence piece in debug that is actually kind of tilted, so it is meant to be the end of a fence that kind of goes down to the grounds where the fence is kind of broken off. But I went in with the tool mod and kind of straightened out this fence piece and then laid them in this crisscross pattern, and I think it ended up really well. I ended up really liking it, and when I finished decorating it with all of the lights and the plants, it ended up looking really messy, and it also kind of squished down the roof or like the entire room a lot, so it looked like there wasn't any space there to breathe or for your Sims to work, which I didn't like, so I raised it all up. And then it worked way better, and it really gave this like nice cozy airy vibe that I was looking for, and it made me so happy to see that it actually worked the way that I wanted it to. And so after that, all that was left to do was decorate the kitchen, decorate the shelves. I really also on the decorations wanted to have a lot of plants, but also like some really cute decorations, like these little like boxes with some nice motifs on it, and really make it look lived in. There's also on the side there is kind of like picnic boxes. Like a lot of love went into this room, and at the end it just made me happy. I was not as proud of this room as I was with the greenhouse, because I thought the greenhouse had like a very unique and awesome just like vibe and look to it and feel, but this one made me very happy when I was finished with it, and I think it was also kind of creative with the roof. So yeah, I really loved working on this kitchen. But yeah, back to the person living there. So I just finished telling you that this isn't a huge mansion. This is one bedroom, one office house, and it's also only for one sim. There is actually space to sleep for 2 sims there, but I just imagined her, like this female sim, living there as being single, happy with just her cats, and just loving life. And yeah, that was kind of like cool as well, because usually when I don't build in a medieval fantasy style, I build family houses, like just suburban kind of nice family houses in The Sims. And this is not a family house, but this is a single person house that I actually put care into, and that was kind of, I wouldn't say out of my comfort zone, because I felt very comfortable and very like nice and cozy and happy while building this, but it still was something different from what I usually do, and it allowed me like not to think of how many sims can I possibly fit in here, but only have one sim and really make the space perfect for this one specific sim. Allowed me to have like so much space and so much freedom to just like, even though it's not that much space, it's actually like pretty small space-wise, I still found a way to have very nice cozy seating areas and do just decorative stuff that I usually don't have the space for, because I kind of think of utility so much, like, oh, why would I use this space for like a nice and cozy seating area if I could use it for another children's bedroom, and then you could fit 2 more sims in this house. This time that wasn't even a thought, but this time it was like, how can I make this house perfect for this one specific sim? And it was such a different kind of building, like it's such a different kind of thinking about the build, that was very refreshing, and really, like, I never lost my joy of building. I would never say that I kind of like didn't have any inspiration anymore, because I had a bunch of it, but it's still like just renewed my love for building in The Sims, and it made me so happy to take this approach. And that's just something that I really want to do moving forward, is challenge myself with as much different kinds of building as I can, just so that I can find like what is good for me, what makes me feel happy, what makes me feel inspired, and just follow the inspiration basically very freely. And that was just such a nice experience. And yeah, now you see us moving on to the bedroom. And the bedroom was very interesting for me to do, because as you probably saw in the inspiration picture, she has like this lofted double bed. And in The Sims, at least without CC, we don't have a lofted double bed. We only have lofted single beds. But I really liked the look of it and how it basically enclosed the entire office area. So of course, because I kind of moved out the chair a little bit, the office space is currently not like completely functional, even though that would be like a 1-second fit. You just would have to click on the seat and it would slot immediately, and then it would be usable. But I thought, like, looks wise, it looked so nice and lived in to have the chair kind of tilted a little bit, so I kept it that way. But of course you can fix it within a second, and then the office space is functional. But yeah, so I was back to the problem of we only have lofted singular beds. So then I found that when we got them with Dream Home Decorator, I actually, we actually got these sets where one of the lofted beds fits 2 double beds, and I kind of utilized that and lifted off a double bed from the ground, just like is kind of floating there as decoration. And then I slotted in the singular bed of the same swatch. Of course, you can still see that it is a singular bed just by this wooden support beam on the other side, but still, I kind of still like the effect that it gives. And I also had to kind of push it out so it doesn't slot into each other perfectly, but that was necessary to keep the bed functional. So that was worth it in my opinion. And then the rest of the room I just decorated with an easel and just like a nice seating area, and also a nice area to get ready and put on some clothes, which is kind of important sometimes. And yeah, so I like that. I hope that you like the bedroom too, because it was kind of enjoyable building it, and that was like kind of the point in the building process where I usually run out of steam, of creative steam. So I just basically put these 3 rooms together into the ground floor like puzzle pieces, and I managed to fit in a space for a staircase. I managed to fit in a dining room and a toilet to kind of finish off the ground floor, which was a less creative process. I didn't really have any kind of reference picture for the dining room, for example. I just finished that off, but then when it came to the second floor and the office space, I had this beautiful, also the living room. So the living room is basically in the hallway of the upper floor, but the hallway is kind of shaped in a way that it doesn't look like very squished or very narrow. It looks very like it is very narrow, but I don't think that if you would sit in that living room you would get claustrophobic. There is still enough space there to just sit and breathe and enjoy life and read a book or watch some TV, and I think it works well as kind of like a living room space. But especially for the office, I had this inspiration picture of the piano. I'm talking way too far ahead into the future, but yeah, for the upper floor I had like all of my inspiration and creativity back again. So it was really nice for myself to kind of take a little creative break with the ground floor, and yeah, I really enjoyed the building process of this one. I kind of continued the green color scheme from the greenhouse going in the dining room, which was a very fun color palette to work in. I don't usually use a lot of greens, but I don't know if it's like me wanting it to be spring or what kind of inspiration hit me, but I guess it was the greenhouse. The greenhouse in the inspiration picture that I had this beautiful red and green contrast in it, and I was really loving it and the way that it looked in the greenhouse, which is kind of fun that we have actually a green greenhouse in this build. I just noticed that while saying the word green so much in one sentence. But yeah, I love that contrast so much and the color swatches that I found, so I just thought I'd continue it over into the dining room. And I think the dining room is not the most spectacular thing, but it is actually kind of nice. And yeah, then we get over to the second floor, which was a bunch of fun. So I wanted a secondary bathroom on the second floor, and currently like she's using the second floor as her living room and office space. But I think if you were continuing to play with that sim, and that sim would eventually maybe end up with a significant other or a child if she wanted to, then it would be pretty easy to convert the office in the second floor into a second bedroom, and that second bedroom would also have its own bathroom. And now that it's only her living there, I think it's still nice to have a second bathroom upstairs, so that when you like are really like focused and working on something on your desk for an extended period of time, and you have to go to the toilet, you don't have to go such a long way. Also toilet on the ground floor is actually kind of very small, so it's kind of nice for her to have a slightly bigger bathroom on the second floor. But now we get to my inspiration picture for the office, and it was not actually an inspiration picture of an office space. It was an inspiration picture of this piano. And I saw this piano and I was like, oh my goodness, we don't have a piano like this in The Sims. We only have the electrical keyboard, and then we have these like huge grand pianos. And I was like, I wonder if I could put together the electrical keyboard and some of these shelves that we have in a way that looks like these beautiful kind of more simple wooden pianos. So I just did it. I kind of went through all of the different bookshelves that we have in the game, and I was looking at how the backside of them looks, and I found some where I really liked the back of the bookshelves, so I put them together, which ended up with two different wood colors, but I really liked how the shapes work together, and even the two wood colors kind of give off more like a fun accent vibe than it actually looking out of place, at least in my opinion. And then there was this gorgeous space for the desk immediately in front of the window. The window I decorated with this kind of plant curtain that we got in the plants kit, and yeah, next to it I used the bookshelf from Snowy Escape and filled it up with way more books than there are originally on there, to kind of give the office a more cluttered look. And then I finished it off with like another easel, because I thought, yeah, you can never have too many spaces to paint, honestly. Painting is a lot of fun, and yeah, that's basically the interior finished, which, as I said it also again before, was such a fun process that really, like, this is basically the build that I came back with from my 1.5 month break of building or opening The Sims or doing videos to just focus on uni, and I came back with this one, and I got so emotional so often through the building process, because I noticed and realized how much I've missed this, and how good it feels just to create something and to build something, and for the thing that you created to invoke like some feelings. Like, I was building these spaces and I was seeing these inspiration pictures and I got so excited about them, and I was like, oh my god, yes, I would live there in a heartbeat. I mean, there wouldn't really be a space for my boyfriend there, so I guess I would have to kind of adjust the space. But there were so many beautiful rooms that I really liked, and that kind of got me excited about decorating and building in The Sims again. Not that, as I said, not that this enthusiasm was ever gone, but just it's just such a nice feeling. And yeah, I wasn't the most ecstatic about the shape that the house ended up being, but I really tried to spice it all up with some nice landscaping, a lot of flowers to fit the amount of plants on the interior. I also utilized the pond tool on either side to kind of frame the walkway to the front door, and I also lifted up the house a little bit to give the terrain a little bit of interest, to, yeah, just to give the landscaping in general a little bit more interest. And then I framed the entire area around it, because it was lifted with these stone walls from Eco Lifestyle that I enjoy using so much in way too many builds. Those are a debug item as well, by the way. And yeah, with that, this build is almost complete. I really hope that you liked and enjoyed this video. If you would consider giving it a like or subscribing, you would make me super duper happy, and I hope we'll see each other again